My name is Daniel Cruz. I'm 30 years old, and I worked as a propulsion engineer at SpaceX for 7 years. Every morning I woke up with the same dream to help humanity become a multiplanetary species to build a future where Mars was home for generations to come. I loved my wife Maria and our small home in Texas where we were trying to start a family. Life felt full of hope, and every day I walked into Starbase feeling I was part of something bigger than myself. On September 12, 2023, everything changed. We were running final pressure tests on the Raptor engines for the next Mars mission prototype. It was just a normal day. The hum of machines, the steady beep of monitors, my team briefing as usual. Then, in an instant, the world exploded. A sudden blast shook the entire facility. A fireball erupted before I even had time to react. I felt a crushing heat, my lungs screamed for air, and everything went white. But I didn't die right away. Instead, I felt weightless, as if I was being pulled away from my body. I looked down and saw myself trapped under twisted metal, bleeding silent. Voices called my name, but they sounded distant, like echoes from another world. I tried to answer, but no sound came out. Then a tunnel of light appeared before me, not the cliché kind, but a warm, living light that seemed to breathe and pulse with love. As I floated toward it, I realized I was completely at peace for the first time in my life. Then I saw him, Jesus, standing in the light, but not like the pictures or movies. He glowed with a radiant, almost overwhelming love, his eyes deep brown, filled with compassion that made me cry tears of joy and relief.
Daniel, my beloved child, I have been waiting to show you the truth that lies beyond what you know. Your work for humanity is noble, but there is a deeper purpose that must be revealed.
I wanted to ask what he meant, but his presence calmed every question inside me. He gently took my hand and led me to a place unlike anything I had ever seen, a vast chamber with walls absorbing light and a huge obsidian table surrounded by shadowy figures. Some were world leaders, some tech billionaires I recognized from the news, but others were not human.
This is the Council. They have planned for decades to escape the coming awakening. They do not seek to save humanity, but to flee to Mars and continue their dark work beyond this Earth.
I felt a cold dread wash over me as I realized the Mars mission I had poured my heart into was not what it seemed. They were building escape pods for the elite and for forces that should not be trusted. This was not science. This was a refuge for deception and control, a preparation for cosmic spiritual warfare.
But fear not, Daniel. The prayers of your beloved Maria and the faithful have been your shield. You are here to warn others not to stop the mission, but to guide hearts back to me. True safety is in me, not in escape.
I wept, overwhelmed by the weight of this truth. The enemy twists even the noblest dreams, the desire to explore, to survive, into a trap. Yet Jesus' love was stronger than any darkness I had seen. He promised to walk with me every step I take from now on. Floating in that warm light, I felt a calm unlike anything I'd ever known. The pain, fear, and confusion were gone. I was no longer bound by the limits of my body. Then Jesus began to speak again. His voice like a soothing melody, powerful and tender all at once.
Daniel, you are not alone. I am with you always, even in the darkest moments. The world you return to is filled with deception, but I will be your guide and your strength.
He showed me visions not just of the Council's plans, but of Earth itself. I saw people praying, awakening to spiritual truths, standing in quiet resistance against the unseen forces trying to control the future. I saw my wife Maria sitting in our home praying every morning for my safety, her faith forming a shield around me.
The power of prayer is a light that the darkness cannot overcome. Your heart filled with faith is a beacon. It is why you have been spared and why you must return.
The Council's plans were more sinister than I could have imagined. They were not simply trying to colonize Mars for science or survival. They were creating a refuge for themselves and for fallen beings, entities that seek to enslave souls and wage spiritual war on a cosmic scale.
Their time is short and their plans are accelerating, but their escape is futile. No matter where they run, my authority reaches to the furthest corners of the universe.
In that moment, I understood something I had never fully grasped before. This was a spiritual war hidden behind headlines and technology, fought in the hearts and minds of every person alive. The stakes were eternal.
Remember, Daniel, the true future of humanity is not in leaving Earth. It is in turning back to me. Only through repentance and love can the soul be saved.
Then the light began to fade and I felt myself being pulled back toward my body. The last words Jesus spoke echoed in my heart as I struggled to hold on.
Go, Daniel, tell them the truth. Let your voice be a light in the darkness. The hope of humanity lies not in the stars, but in the kingdom of heaven.
Suddenly, I was back. The blaring alarms, the rush of voices, the sterile smell of the hospital, it all hit me at once. My chest burned, my ribs cracked, but my mind was clearer than ever. I had seen beyond the veil, and my life would never be the same. As I lay in the hospital bed, the truth weighed heavily on my soul. What I had witnessed was beyond any conspiracy theory or science fiction story. It was a cosmic reality, one that few dared to see or speak about. Jesus had shown me the secret council, a gathering of the world's most powerful people. They weren't planning Mars as a new frontier for human exploration or survival. Their true goal was far darker, a final escape plan from the coming spiritual reckoning on Earth. This council included not only influential leaders and billionaires, but also beings not of this world, fallen entities using human ambition as a cover for their schemes.
Their plans are built on deception. Daniel, they fear the awakening of humanity's spiritual truth and seek to flee to a place they believe to be safe. But no place is beyond my reach.
I saw through Jesus' eyes how these dark forces had influenced every step of the Mars project. From whispers in boardrooms to guiding minds toward ambition without conscience, they twisted innovation into a tool for their control. Underground facilities were being built on Mars, hidden from the public, designed to continue spiritual warfare beyond Earth.
The technology you helped create is not inherently evil, but it has been corrupted. It can be used for good or evil. It is the heart that decides.
I felt my heart break for the innocent engineers and scientists, many like me, who believed they were building a brighter future. They had been deceived, caught in a web spun by those who wield power without conscience. But Jesus reminded me that even in this darkness there is hope.
The prayers of the faithful are a wall of protection around the pure hearts. Your wife's prayers, her love, have been your shield, Daniel.
It was those prayers that kept me from falling deeper into the deception that held my spirit soft and seeking truth. Without them, I might have been lost forever. This spiritual war is real, and it is raging now, hidden beneath the surface of global events and scientific progress.
The elite think they can run to Mars and escape my judgment, but they do not understand that I created the universe, and there is no place where my authority does not reach.
Jesus showed me a vision of Mars, not the lifeless red rock science claims, but a world that was once vibrant and alive. A civilization there had fallen to the same pride and rebellion humanity now faces. They tried to run from judgment, but the dust that covers Mars is a reminder of what happens when a world turns from God.
This has happened before, Daniel. Worlds have risen and fallen based on the choice to serve me or to serve themselves.
The mission to Mars is a lie layered over genuine science and discovery. Brave souls with pure hearts will go with noble intentions, but the hidden agenda remains to build a fortress for the dark forces and to avoid accountability for what is coming. Jesus looked at me with infinite compassion and said,
You will return to warn them, Daniel. Your calling is not to stop the space mission, but to help humanity understand that true safety lies in me, not in escape.
I knew then my life had changed forever. I was no longer just an engineer. I had a mission bigger than anything I could have imagined. The weight of the revelation settled deep in my heart as I lay recovering in the hospital. Yet amidst the heavy truth, there was a spark of hope, a reminder that not all was lost. Jesus had told me about the power of prayer, how the faithful intercession of those I loved and countless others shielded me from the darkness trying to pull me under. I thought of Maria, my wife, who had been praying every morning in our modest home. She wasn't a public figure or a powerful person, just a woman of quiet faith holding on to hope in a world that often seemed overwhelmed by shadows. Her prayers had formed a shield protecting my heart from being hardened or deceived.
Maria's faith has been a light in the darkness, Daniel. Her prayers have kept your heart soft and your spirit strong. Never underestimate the power of a loving heart turned to me.
It was humbling to realize that my survival and spiritual awakening were intertwined with the simple, faithful prayers of my wife. This wasn't just about technology or secret meetings. It was a battle fought in the unseen realms where every prayer, every act of faith pushed back the darkness. I began to understand that the forces behind the Mars mission weren't just political or economic powers, they were part of a larger spiritual war. The ambitions of mankind were being twisted by fallen beings who sought to manipulate our noblest dreams, turning exploration and innovation into a prison of deception. Jesus showed me again how these dark entities hovered invisibly over the SpaceX facility and other places of influence. They whispered into the minds of engineers and executives, steering decisions toward their hidden agenda. It was a haunting vision technology born from human ingenuity, but under spiritual bondage.
The enemy knows his time is short. He seeks to steal, kill, and destroy through deception and control, but the prayers of the faithful form a barrier he cannot breach.
I felt the urgency of the moment. The spiritual awakening was accelerating faster than the council anticipated, and their plans were shifting to survive the coming harvest, a final reckoning of souls on Earth. The elite intended to send the first wave of colonists to Mars themselves and their allies, leaving behind the rest of humanity. Yet Jesus' words were filled with compassion, not condemnation.
They are lost but not beyond redemption. Many have been deceived, blinded by ambition and fear. It is your task to help them see the truth with love, Daniel.
That task felt overwhelming. How could one person expose such a vast conspiracy? How would people respond to a story so unbelievable? But Jesus reassured me.
You do not need to convince the world. I only need to reach those who are seeking truth. Let your voice be a light for them.
Back in the hospital, Maria was my anchor. She listened with an open heart as I shared the visions, the counsel, the war behind the scenes. Her eyes never wavered. She believed without hesitation. Together, we prayed. Every morning, every night, we interceded, not just for me, but for those trapped in deception, the engineers, the scientists, the leaders unknowingly caught in this spiritual battle. I learned about the community of prayer warriors around the world. Strangers who met in small groups across continents, lifting up their voices to God for the hidden truths to be revealed and for protection over those at the heart of this cosmic war. I saw images of children in Africa praying for space workers, elderly women in rural churches interceding for the young men handling dangerous technology.
They are my army on earth, Daniel. Their prayers are the winds that drive back the darkness.
It became clear that prayer is not a passive act, but spiritual warfare, a frontline defense against forces trying to enslave souls. I realized that technology and human ambition alone cannot save us. Our true shield is faith, connection to God, and a heart aligned with His will. Even now, the enemy tries to silence me. Some of my former colleagues have reached out concerned that I might have lost my mind. A few have confided in me, sharing their own strange experiences, dreams filled with dark figures lurking in the facility, feelings of unease that they dismissed as stress. But the knowledge I carry is both a burden and a gift.
Do not fear what men say or think, Daniel. Remember the prophets who were labeled crazy, yet carried the truth of my kingdom.
The explosion that nearly killed me was no accident. The enemy sought to eliminate the threat I now posed, but God's angels intervened, redirecting the blast so that I was only brought to the edge of death, not beyond it. This near-death experience was a divine appointment, a moment chosen by God to reveal hidden things and send me back with a mission.
Your life is now a testimony to my grace and power. Share it boldly, for many will need to hear it in these last days.
Though my body bore the scars, broken ribs, bruised organs, the spirit inside was ignited with purpose. The prayers of Maria and many others had formed an invisible shield protecting me from being swallowed by deception. I started to see my work, my life, and the world around me differently. No longer could I focus solely on human progress without seeing the spiritual realities intertwined beneath it. The hidden war was real, and it demanded awareness, courage, and faith. Jesus had not only given me a vision of what was happening, but also a roadmap for how to live in this moment rooted in prayer, truth, and love. He showed me that redemption was possible, that no matter how deep the deception, God's light could shine through.
Your mission is to be a beacon, Daniel, to light the way for others lost in the darkness, to remind them that the true future is in me, not in escape or power.
With every day that passed, the urgency grew. The council's plans were accelerating, but so was the spiritual awakening. More people were turning to prayer, seeking truth beyond the surface, waking up to the reality of this unseen battle. Maria and I found a small church that spoke openly about spiritual warfare, not fear-mongering, but biblical truth that prepared believers for the times ahead. I shared my testimony there, and the response was both encouraging and humbling. People wanted to know, to understand, to join in the fight for truth and light. I have started documenting everything: the visions, the words of Jesus, the council's plans, the power of prayer. It is a story that needs to be told, a warning that must be heard. This is not just my story. It is the story of a world at a crossroads, a battle between light and darkness playing out in science labs, boardrooms, and hearts everywhere. And through it all, the answer remains the same: return to God, embrace faith, and stand firm in truth. The warning Jesus gave me weighed heavily on my heart as I began to understand the full scope of humanity's choice. He showed me visions of Mars not as the barren, lifeless planet science often describes, but as a world that was once vibrant and full of life. Green forests, flowing rivers, skies painted with colors unknown to us now. But it all faded away, buried beneath layers of red dust, a tragic reminder of what happens when a civilization turns its back on God.
Daniel, Mars was once a living world filled with beauty and purpose. But the inhabitants chose rebellion over repentance, pride over humility. Their fall was not unlike the path Earth is on now.
The same choices that led to the destruction of Mars threaten humanity today. The desire for control power and independence from God is a dangerous path. The Council's secret plans to escape to Mars are not just about physical survival, but about avoiding accountability for the spiritual consequences their actions have brought upon the world.
They believe they can run Daniel, but there is no escape from my love or my judgment. The question for humanity is not where you will live, but who you will serve.
The vision filled me with both sorrow and urgency. So many are chasing after technology and progress as if those alone can save us. But the truth is far deeper. It's a matter of the soul of choosing to turn back to God's grace before it's too late.
The choice you all face is simple yet profound. Will you turn your hearts to me and embrace the redemption I offer, or will you follow the path that destroyed Mars and lead to destruction?
Jesus showed me glimpses of Earth, the divided, broken world we live in now. Wars, greed, environmental destruction, the rise of false ideologies, all symptoms of a deeper spiritual crisis. The same forces at work on Mars centuries ago are active here today, twisting human ambition into tools for control and deception.
The world is in a shaken state, Daniel. Many will be tempted to seek safety and escape in power and technology in new worlds, but true safety is found only in returning to me.
Despite the darkness, the message was one of hope. Jesus reminded me that the door to redemption is always open. No one is beyond the reach of His mercy. He is calling every heart to come home to choose love over fear, truth over deception.
No matter how far you think you have gone, no matter what you have done, I am waiting with open arms. The future is not set in stone. It is shaped by the choices you make today.
This choice isn't just for the elite or the council. It's for every person watching, every soul alive. The countdown is already underway, not to colonize Mars, but to prepare for the return of the King, when every knee will bow on Earth, on Mars, and beyond.
The reality of my kingdom is cosmic, Daniel. Every planet, every star, every corner of the universe will recognize my lordship. The question is whether humanity will become a redeemed species or follow the path of rebellion.
I felt the weight of this message like never before. It wasn't just a prophecy, it was a call to action, a spiritual crossroads for all of us. The Mars mission, as grand as it seems, is a symbol of a deeper battle between light and darkness, truth and deception, salvation and destruction. I knew then that my role was to share this warning with compassion and clarity, not to instill fear, but to awaken hearts. The future of humanity depends on this awakening.
Remember, Daniel, the prophets were once called crazy. You do not need everyone to believe you. I need only the ones I have called to hear the truth.
That truth is heavier than any physical injury I suffered. Every time I see headlines about Mars missions or new space technologies, my chest tightens with the knowledge of the hidden agenda driving it. I grieve for the good people working with pure hearts, unaware of the dark forces influencing the highest levels. But there is hope. The spiritual awakening is real and growing. More people are turning to prayer, seeking discernment, and questioning the narratives fed to them. I've met others who share similar experiences, visions, dreams, a growing awareness of the spiritual realities beneath the surface of our world. Maria and I have become part of a community of prayer warriors around the globe, united in intercession for protection, revelation, and courage. We stand together knowing the enemy hates the light but cannot overcome it.
Your testimony will be a beacon in the darkness, Daniel. Do not grow weary. I am with you, and I will whisper my truth in your heart when you face doubt.
Living with this knowledge is a daily battle. But it is also a gift, a call to live intentionally, to stand firm in faith, and to trust in the unseen victory that God promises. I am no longer just an engineer dreaming of Mars. I am a messenger called to reveal the hidden truths and point others to the hope found only in Jesus. The road ahead will be difficult, but I am not alone. And I believe that by sharing this message one heart at a time, we can awaken a generation ready to choose light over darkness. As my journey continued, the final message Jesus gave me became clearer than ever. The hope for humanity does not lie in escaping to another planet, no matter how advanced our technology becomes. The true hope lies in redemption, in turning our hearts back to God, the Creator of all things.
Remember, Daniel, that my kingdom is not limited to Earth alone. When I return, every knee will bow on Earth, on Mars, and in every corner of the universe. No escape plan can avoid my authority.
The vision of a cosmic kingdom was awe-inspiring. Jesus showed me that the final victory would be universal, a restoration of all things under His loving rule. The elite may try to flee, build secret bases, and wield great power, but none can stand against the love and justice of God.
They can run to the furthest galaxy, but they cannot run from me. Their plans are foolish, but I have prepared for this since the foundation of the world.
This wasn't a message of fear, but of hope, a hope that no darkness can extinguish. I saw glimpses of the kingdom Jesus described filled with peace, joy, and love beyond anything we could imagine.
Your hope is not in becoming a multiplanetary species, Daniel. Your hope is in becoming a redeemed species. Turn to me, and I will make all things new.
I understand now that science and exploration have their place. They can reveal wonders of creation and inspire us, but when those noble pursuits are used to hide deception or to run from spiritual truth, they become part of the problem, not the solution. The message Jesus gave me is a call for each person listening. Choose where you place your trust. Will it be in human plans, technology, or the escape routes built by the powerful? Or will it be in the eternal kingdom of God, built on love, grace, and redemption?
The countdown has begun not to Mars colonization, but to my return. Prepare your hearts, Daniel. Prepare your hearts, all who hear this message.
I hold on to this hope with all my heart. No matter how dark the days may seem, no matter how strong the forces of deception, God wins in the end. His kingdom will come, and every soul will stand before him. This is the greatest truth I have been given to share the hope that can transform lives, heal broken hearts, and bring peace beyond understanding. My life's mission now is clear to share this message with courage, love, and unwavering faith. To remind all who listen that the future is not about escaping to other worlds, but about embracing the redemption offered by Jesus Christ. The real journey is a spiritual one of surrender, faith, and hope in the one who created all the stars and planets. If you've listened this far, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. What I've shared isn't just my story, it's a warning, a call, and a hope for all of us facing uncertain times. The truth about what's happening behind the scenes with space missions, elite powers, and spiritual warfare may sound unbelievable, but it's real. And it's happening now. If you feel this message speaks to you, if it stirs something deep inside, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends and family. Let's wake more hearts together. And if you want to join a community that seeks truth, faith, and hope, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be sharing more stories, testimonies, and revelations to help us all navigate these times. Your comments and prayers matter. Write below what you think, ask questions, or share your own experiences. Together, we can support and strengthen one another.
Be bold, Daniel. And to all who hear this message, remember the light you carry can dispel the darkness. Stand firm in faith and walk in love.
Thank you for being here. Stay vigilant, stay faithful, and remember, true hope is not found in escape, but in the eternal love of God. God bless you all.